Next, we hear from the Office of the Children's Commissioner, who will amplify the voices of our mokopuna that they have been listening to. We recognise the crucial significance of giving children and young people a safe platform to express their thoughts on issues that directly impact their lives. Noel Woods, we invite you to take the stage. Give it up for Noel Woods. Thank you.
Hoi anō, tuia te rangi, tuia te papa, tuia ngā kōrero, tuia ngā wānanga kia mau kia ita, kia kuru paunamu te rongo mo te oranga o ngā mokopuna haumi e, hui e, tae ki e. E aku marae kura, e aku whatu kura, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Ko Noel Woods ahau e mokopuna mai ngā iwi o te Ātiawa, o Ngāti Prau ngā ruahi ne rangi, nā reira, nei rā te raukura e titia kei wainga i a tātou katoa. Hoi anō, hei whakatūwhera I tēnei o ngā kauhau. I just want to share with you again a kōrero, and you will notice we did not use any visuals as a representation of the lack of mokopuna visibility in designing solutions. We also focused on sharing voice rather than sharing stats, because no doubt you, the audience, are the experts. You know the data and you know the numbers. However, engaging and listening to mokopuna as more than just the victim or as vulnerable, and of course moving towards quality and authentic participation, as we know, requires more work. The recording you're about to hear was presented in 2022 online, and it is addressed to whom it may concern. Nā reira, whakarongo maira.
To whom this may concern. This is an important message, but I do not know who to write it to. I do not know who's going to listen. I do not know who cares. I am writing it because I know I need help. I deserve help. And there are so many other kids who need to be heard. And I've lost a lot of friends who left a different message after it was too late. One of my mates, he wrote a message. He put in his statement to the police that he did drugs to escape the stress, to escape the world. Both his parents had to work 2 jobs to pay the bills. Rent in Tāmaki is always going up and they were always behind. His parents would hardly be home, and when they were home, they were always fighting, always arguing. It's been a long time since things were okay. He had to take care of his sisters and brothers. And sometimes when he was babysitting, he would smoke just to escape. My cousin, she wrote a message. She was caught passing notes in class and was told to go see a counsellor. The note she wrote was a question. Did anyone have somewhere for her to sleep that night? Her dad lost his job. They lost their home, and now they were sleeping in their cars. They had been staying with different family and friends, but Mum and Dad kept fighting. She ran away from home, and she had been staying with some people. But one night, she woke up to someone trying to do something, and she hasn't been the same since. She just wanted to escape. A girl at youth group. She tagged a FTW message on the toilet doors. People had talked about her for months. They said she had changed. She was angry, she was moody, she was sad. I remember the youth leader telling her to get her act together, and the girl responded, "Stuff you. You don't know me." At home, she would lock herself in the toilet. It was the only room she could have to herself, the only room she could lock. When the parties were on, when the music was loud and adults were behaving weirdly towards her, she would lock that door and escape. The captain of my sports team, he wrote a message on Facebook. He was depressed and sharing sad songs and sad stories. Lots of people were surprised because he seemed tough, seemed confident. He loved his dad. His dad was his number one hero. But when his dad got drunk, he would hurt him, tell him to man up. There were times I noticed him be violent and mean at our games. Some people thought he could be a bully. The way he would hit people during games, some of the words he would use when he was angry, especially to his younger brother. Maybe that's how he escapes. And there was this message. It said that everyone had to stay home, stay in their bubble to stay safe. I remember thinking about the kids that don't have a safe bubble. It made me think about the messages they wanted to share, to give and to say, and who they want to send it to. I know that they have stories to tell just like me, but no one wants to hear them, or they only want to hear them when it suits them. Children and young people should grow up in families, communities, a country they belong to, that they don't want to escape.
Kapai, as we know, mokopuna are at the centre of what we do here at our role at the Office of the Children's Commissioner, and that is to ensure that we are amplifying the voices of our mokopuna. We have adapted the use of mokopuna because of the beauty of our tāhua reo Māori. Now, the word comes from two words, of course, moko, the tattoo or blueprint, and of course, puna is a spring or pool of water within which we see our reflection. This recognises that children are the blueprint of their ancestors. Therefore, mokopuna is a reflection of ourselves. We begin to see the great beauty and creativity of these words, which gives us that stronger connection to that mokopuna, their village, hapori, whānau, hapu, and iwi. We also see how destructive family and sexual violence can be to the whakapapa of our mokopuna and how that can affect the lives of our young people. So an even stronger responsibility is placed upon us adults to ensure that that puna is clean and safe for our mokopuna. We know they have the solutions to the issues that are affecting them, and it is imperative that we as advocates and decision makers take on their whakaaro and their solutions. We need to support them, listen, whakarongo, āta whakarongo, so we can move towards a safer Aotearoa. The voices you're about to hear come with no visuals or images again, and once again to emphasise the point that mokopuna don't see themselves reflected in these spaces and these conversations, although these are the places that are heavily affecting and influencing their ability to live their best lives. Kia kuru pounamu te rongo. No doubt we've got work to do and to safely bring mokopuna into the space and to be visible. E whai ake nei is another kōrero, kōwaio, Who Am I, which are 4 stories where mokopuna wanted help but had a negative experience, and how this has shaped their identity and sense of belonging and also their access to support service. Nā reira, ari o taringa mai, whakarongo mai rā.
OIO, who am I? I'm that young woman who was removed from my family because they were always stressed, always fighting. Everyone thinks they know me before they know me. They heard my story and they think they know what's best for me. They made me meet a counsellor and a nurse, and they made me answer all these questions and do all these assessments. They read my notes and they told me what's wrong and what I need. This made me feel sad and then angry because I didn't get the opportunity to tell them my own story, my own way. If adults really want to help young people, they need to give us a chance to tell our story. It doesn't matter how young we are, we know our story. We just need help to share it.
I am the son who called the police. My mom and my little brothers were beaten up by my dad. A big group turned up at first. I felt safer, then I felt scared, and then I felt lost. There were so many of them, so many cars, so many people talking and shouting, and they grabbed my brothers, and they grabbed me. They treated me like I was a part of the problem. They asked me questions like I was being interrogated, and they wouldn't let me talk to my mom. I started to get angry. I started to regret calling them. They were meant to help, but they only made it worse. They turned up for war, not to bring peace. If you want war, we will give you war. I am the son who rang the police on my whānau and brought war to my home.
I am a first-generation Kiwi. My parents moved here for a better life, and I want to make them proud. I enjoy sports, but recently I have started to hate doing it at school. Being a girl, I cover my skin and my hair. It's part of my beliefs. My PE teacher would always make comments about how I must get hot, or doesn't it get in the way? It makes me feel targeted. It makes me feel wrong. One day at school, a boy came up, reached out, and grabbed my scarf. When I got upset, he told me it was just a joke. I didn't tell anyone because I knew they would say I was being difficult and making it more than what it was. I want to make my parents proud. I want to uphold my values. I want to succeed in sports. But do these things conflict? Am I the problem?
I am the troublemaker. Well, that's the way they talk about me. They think I don't hear them, but I always do. I just pretended I don't. When I got kicked out of school, I heard the board person say it's because I'm one of those kids. When I got put into alternative education, the counselor said I'm from that family. Everyone knows my family. Everyone thinks they know me. We had to attend this family group conference thing with all these smart and powerful people. They had the solutions for my family. I heard them talking about me, and they asked me loads of questions. And they asked me why I didn't say anything. Did I not feel safe? I just shrugged my shoulders because I couldn't be stuffed. Why do they want to know me now? They didn't before.
E te whānau, we all have a role in supporting our mokopuna. There are always those people who make a real difference, hopefully within the crowd here. Might be that teacher, that youth worker, social worker, the shopkeeper, bus driver, or even that random stranger that makes a huge difference for our mokopuna. They need that person who makes them feel safe and heard. It's important to state that the word mokopuna acknowledges that children and young people are unique individuals who exist within the context of their family, whānau, hapu iwi, and wider family groups, and this can include those that are working with them. Up next is another kōrero, ko wai koe, who are you, which is 4 stories where mokopuna describe adults that engaged, listened, and supported them. How they became trusted adults that the mokopuna developed lasting relationships with, and how this resulted in positive outcomes through access of the many support services. E te whānau, are you that person entrusted by our mokopuna? Let's hope you are. Are taringa mai.
Ko wai koe, who are you? Are you that cop who pulled up when my friend and I were walking home and asked us if we needed a ride? I thought you were sus and trying to trick us. I don't trust the police because they're never around for anything good. They don't do anything good for no reason. You said your name was Tony, and my mate said, bro, it's the cop, the one that gets the feeds for the homies. The boys told me about you, how you were different, a good guy, that you actually cared about the community, that you knew our whānau. I asked you if it was true that you bought the boys Maccas, and you said yeah. I asked if I could have a quarter pounder, and you said okay. I've known you for years now, and I think you're cool, and not just because you're still buying us those feeds. When things went down in my family, I knew I could ask you for help, and that you aren't just a cop. You're that good dude, Tony from town.
Are you the social worker? The one I met at the homework club? You were there for some program thing I totally forgot about because it was boring. Plus, I thought you were just another Palangi lady coming to tell us all these things that we would never get to do. You were telling us we had rights, that we had a voice, and that we can share our voice to make a change. It annoys me when people tell us that we have a voice, but they only pretend to listen. So I told you my story, and I thought you would freak out. But you didn't. You listened. And told me I was brave for sharing, and that you appreciated I trusted you. I remember you because you remembered me. You came back the next week just to check up on me, and gave me information about other help I could get. You asked for my permission to talk to other people. That's when I knew you were real. You aren't just that Palangi. You're Laura, the voice lady.
I had a doctor that explains me why I can't think straight sometimes. My whole life I've been told I have a learning disability, or that I'm different because my mom drank when I was in her belly. I used to get really annoyed in class because I felt stupid, and when teachers didn't understand me, I would get angry. I love my mom, but she has a problem, and I've seen her go through so many things with so many different people. I wouldn't talk to anyone about it because I love my mom. She is all I have, and I just want her to get help. I met you at the health center, but you were different to the others. You didn't tell me what was wrong. You asked me to tell you my story. I didn't trust you straight away, but you kept checking up on me. When I got in trouble at school, you helped me understand why my brain is different. And you helped me understand what to do when I feel annoyed. You helped me understand my story, and you helped me see what I can do for me and my mum. I told a doctor my story, and now I know you as Dr. Dale, my mate at the centre.
Are you the school receptionist that made me a Milo, gave me something to eat, and said it will be okay? I left home early and came to school to get away. It was raining and so I got wet waiting for school to open. I knew I would get in big trouble again because my clothes were wet. I was trying to dry my clothes so that Mum and Dad wouldn't fight again. You made me a Milo and asked if I had eaten. You made me toast and asked if I was okay. I cried because I was wet. And you told me everything was going to be okay. You got me some clothes and took mine to get dry. I sat there after the bell rang and you said it was okay. I sat there until lunchtime and you said it was okay. You brought my clothes back and you gave me some more food before I went home. You said it's okay, come back tomorrow. I come here every day now and help Linda with the office work. And I know it's okay.
E te whānau, I hope the mokopuna voices you heard today leaves an impression on you, just like the imprint we talked about. I hope it highlights the importance of not just hearing, but listening and elevating mokopuna voices to all spaces and places. You might hear that saying that our mokopunas are leaders of tomorrow. Yes, we would agree. But just like the Youth Week theme this year, they are also leaders of today. Rangatira I te neira. All we need to do now is give them a chance to lead. I want to close this segment with a statement from one of our community partners who mentioned that mokopuna are the key to ending sexual and family violence. While many others hold the statistics, theories and policy, young people have the stories. While the logistical and academic material may tell you what or how big the problem is, young people will tell you how to fix it and how to fix it in a way that is long-lasting and effective. Nā reira, kia kaha tātou ki te mahi I ngā mahi. I just want to acknowledge our kai kōmihana, our Children's Commissioner, Judge Francis Evers, he mokopuna mai Ngāti Maniapoto, who has come in at a time of transition. As you all know, come July 1, we'll have a Board of Commissioners. I also want to acknowledge her for all the mahi she has done for us so far, and our mokopuna of Aotearoa, and also acknowledging our previous commissioners for being champions for our mokopuna tamariki o Aotearoa. We look forward to hearing from mokopuna and whānau across Aotearoa to ensure their voices are heard, and a huge part of this kaupapa whakahirahira. And of course, we'll be working with our community partners and the villages that are wrapped around our mokopuna. Nā reira, nei rā te mihi kia koutou katoa ngā ringaringa me ngā waiwai e paukaha ana ki te mahi I ngā mahi. Ki te mahi tahi ai, mo te aha, mo te oranga o ngā mokopuna whānau hapu iwi hapuri. Mauri ora kia tātou katoa. I would like to now invite our beautiful ātahua kaimahi for our waiata tautoko that talks about our role and the waka we're in for our mokopuna, and of course that classic saying, he waka eke noa, nā reira e te whānau ki te oi.